This is my out of the home theater review for Predator Badlands. All right, so this was a very fun movie. I'm not the biggest Predator fan. I haven't seen all the movies. So, I don't know like the lore and everything behind, the Predator and stuff like that. But I know pretty much the basic idea of Predator, what he is, what they do. So I was pretty excited to go see this movie in the theater. I saw this in IMAX 3D. And this was a very, very fun movie. I kind of went into it not knowing what to expect because I've never seen any of the Predator movies in the theater. So this was my first experience in the theater and it was worth it, man. Very fun movie. Very cool movie. The plot was, it's not the best, but it fits the Predator world. So had a really fun time watching this in the theater. Sounded amazing. It looked amazing on IMAX. The audio was incredible. So, I was excited to see what it would translate to in a home theater because Disney has been knocking it out of the park lately. So we had Fantastic Four, which is, I said it was the best superhero movie audio for 2025. And then we got Tron Ares, which was actually, no, I take that. Yeah. So Tron Ares was the best audio of 2025. Fantastic Four was the best superhero audio of 2025. But I think Tron Ares was hands down the best audio for, 4K Blu-ray for 2025. So I was excited to see how Predator Badlands would sound because it's also owned by Disney. So we're going to get into that here. But before I tell you about my thoughts on the movie, the audio and the video, let me tell you about the gear that I'm using. For this review, my setup includes 11 Arendal speakers in a 7.3.6 configuration, 5 1723S monitors for the front stage and rear surrounds, 2 1961 monitors for side surrounds, 2 1961 bookshelf, and 4 1961 height speakers for a total of 6 height speakers. For the low end, I've got dual 18-inch JTR RS1s and a 21-inch MagTheatron subwoofer for maximum impact. Processing the audio is a Trinnov Altitude 16 with an Amplitude 16 processor. On the visual side, I've got a madVR Envy core processing an EPSON QB1000 4K projector, made it to a 110-inch acoustically transparent Seymour screen with the center channel behind the screen. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this movie in your home theater, whether it's 4K Blu-ray, Kaleidescape. I don't really watch any movies on digital, so I don't know what that sounds like. I'm assuming it's probably not going to sound as good because there's going to be some compression with the audio. But if you haven't watched this yet, you're in for a treat because it's another one. So somebody at Disney is clearly listening to the community because, like I said, we had Fantastic Four, which is awesome. Tron Ares, which took it up another notch. And now we get Predator Badlands. Now, if I had to put Predator Badlands as far as, well, first let me get into the video. So Predator Badlands, it's got that gritty look. So there is some film grain on there. I don't mind it. I think it fits the movie. I think it fits what it's, like I said, it's a gritty movie, dark, gritty, action-packed movie. So the grain absolutely fits. Now, there's some scenes where the grain is a little bit more heavier than others, but for the most part, it's pretty consistent throughout. You probably won't even notice it unless it's those like grain heavy scenes. So, if you're a grain hater, it's not the worst, but it's also, I don't think it's going to bother anybody if you are a grain hater. But the movie looks really good. The HDR looks pretty good. It's not like an overly bright movie. It's not an overly dark movie. It's kind of in the middle. There are some scenes, some night scenes, obviously, of course, looks good. But, during the daytime, HDR looks stellar. My madVR, EPSON QB1000 combo looked fantastic. You don't get the IMAX scenes though, however. So again, like I said, I saw this, I believe it was IMAX 3D. Let me check that. Okay, so I'm looking at my AMC app and it's showing it was an IMAX opening fan event. So I thought it was 3D. I could have been wrong on that. It was definitely IMAX. I thought it was 3D. Maybe I think I saw it maybe in IMAX 3D, like another day or something. But definitely I saw it in IMAX. So, it looked amazing on a massive IMAX screen. Unfortunately, There are black bars, so you're not getting the IMAX. Again, don't know what the deal is with that, but it still looks really, really good. So again, this isn't going to stress test your display, you know, HDR, but it does look really well. So I had no issues with it. Looked great, really good on the video. The audio is where this thing shines. So this movie starts off action-packed in the middle of a fight with a deck with his brother, and from the get-go, it's just, you know, bang bang, fights, audio. They're in like this cave or something like that, so it sounds really massive, really cavernous. You know, the atmospherics are really good. It sounds like you're in a cave. You know, the reverberation. So it starts off like pretty much sets the tone for the whole movie. There's a ton of action in this movie, and yeah, you know, looking at the Atmos viewer when I was watching it, you know, some scenes, even though it does have a very broad and spacious atmospheric sound to it, sometimes some of the scenes, like the scenes that I picked for this review, you won't see a lot of activity in the heights, but you do get a lot of the sound traveling up to the heights, and it is a dynamic mix. You know, for some parts it can be static, but it's a pretty dynamic mix, and it's pretty good, man. I was very happy with this, how this sounded. Again, from the first scene, especially when I was watching it in IMAX, I was like, oh, they're really like, they're coming at you with this scene. You know, the first scene that comes out on the movie when the movie starts, a lot of action, audio is really good, and it translates well to the home theater. So audio is good, height activity is good. Like I said, it's a dynamic mix. This has a ton of bass in it. So there's plenty of scenes. There's the Kaleidescape, you know, anytime the Kaleidescape is on screen, the bass is insane. You know, you've got the bone bison scene. There's a ton of bass in that. There is, you know, anytime basically there's like a monster of that world, you're going to get some really, really deep bass. And yeah, I cranked it. I was at -10 on this one, and it was insane in my theater. I know for a fact my neighbors felt that. In fact, so much that my neighbors just moved. So I came home on Wednesday of this week and saw that there was a U-Haul. And I'm like, are they moving? Are they moving because of me? I'm not bragging, but I'm pretty sure they're moving because they're tired of the, and what's crazy is I'm not watching movies every day of the week. Sometimes I go weeks without watching a movie if nothing news comes out. I mean, I watch like YouTube and stuff in here, but I'm pretty sure my neighbors just moved, and I'm pretty sure it's probably because of me. So I'm not proud of that, but hey man, you do what you got to do. But the bass on this is fantastic. I want to say that in certain parts it's even digs deeper than Tron Ares. Tron Ares has some really good bass. This one, there's moments where it exceeds that. Now, as a track overall, I don't think is as good as Tron Ares. I think Tron Ares is still the best of 2025 and one of the best that I've heard. So as far as that, you know, as far as like an overall, it's not, you're not going to get the same level of quality as Tron Ares, but this one is still very good. Dynamic mix, you know, the height activity is good. It could have been a little bit better. It could have been a little bit louder, but I still enjoyed it. It's not bad at all. The bass though on this thing shines. So like I said, anytime the callus scene, which is the scene that I chose for this review, just absolutely a ton of bass. I mean, you can see the drivers moving. They're going nuts. So very tight bass, very deep bass. This is going to rattle your walls, possibly your neighbor's walls. So yeah, man, this is a good one. So Disney is on a roll. If people at Disney, the sound engineers, somebody is watching these videos, is watching these art, you know, the content creators that have been complaining for years, I mean probably a decade at this point, of just mediocre audio, thank you, because this is the kind of mixes that we want. Now, it's not top notch, but it's very good, and it's a far cry from the other movies that we've been getting from Disney, whether it's, you know, Marvel or stuff like this, you know, Tron. Somebody's got to be paying attention. Now, I don't know if it's, I know Disney said that they were going to start outsourcing their 4K Blu-ray discs manufacturing to Sony. So maybe that's why we're getting so many good, you know, discs from Disney. I can't verify that. I don't know for sure, but I do know that they said that they were going to start doing that. And Sony's discs, Sony's audio is usually like, they knock it out of the park. So whatever the reason is, man, thank you, because we have been crying from the rooftops that we want better Atmos mixes, and they've been delivering. So as far as my rating for video, I probably give this like a 7. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, it's not anything that's going to stress test your system. I don't think this movie was designed to just be, to wow you, you know, visually. It's on a planet, obviously in the Predator world. And, you know, there's a lot of dusk scenes. There are some dark scenes. It's not an overly bright movie. So, like I said, it's not going to like light up your room, light up your screen or anything like that, but it's not bad. So I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Audio, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. I love this mix. The audio is great. The only reason I'm not giving it a 9 is because I think it could have been just a little bit better as far as atmospherics and as far as like the height channel activity. There was some scenes where I noticed, so I was like, they could have done a little bit more there in the height channels. Could have been a little bit more atmospheric, could have been a little bit more potent, you know, stuff flying around, like whatever the creatures are that are flying in the air, but really good. And like I said, I was listening to this at -10 and it was thumping in here. It sounded amazing. So amazing that my neighbors moved. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for audio, 7.5 for video. This was a really fun movie. I'm gonna watch this again, and yeah, man, I'm so glad that Disney has been giving us, you know, back to back stellar audio mixes. I hope they don't stop. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of Predator Badlands. Let me know what you think about the movie. Let me know what you think about the video and the audio. So that is gonna do it for my out of the home theater review for Predator Badlands. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.